Welcome, everybody, to Is It a Film? A weekly podcast that critiques and memes films and asks one very important question. Is it a film?
Maybe.
Spoilers, so watch out. I'm your host, Vincent, aka the guy on the first floor. And I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my Drew, Jonathan.
Aka CM Folk.
And this is episode 24 of Is It a Film? An episode we would like to call CM Punk stands for Can't Act Punk.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you know what actually CM Punk stands for?
I don't care.
Chick Magnet.
I hate that.
And one time he joked it was Cookie Monster.
No, I stand by what I've said about him being an ex-brew cannibal, actually. I stand by that.
Today we're going to the 2019 horror film, Girl on the Third Floor. We're going to go over a basic-ass intro telling you why it's...
horror about it is how horrifically bad it is.
We're going to go over the basic-ass intro telling you why it's important, go over the Wikipedia plot summary, go over some Google and IMDb reviews, and giving you a terrible last segment.
Just
that
terrible.
It's so bad we don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah, we never know.
Yeah.
We might not even do one.
Before we start, if you want to find Is It a Film, you can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/Is It a Film. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Is It a Film, and you can find us on Patreon by going to the patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. And with that out of the way, what's the clickbait title for this week?
CM Punk is the new Bruce Campbell.
Okay,
I'm click. That's
good. That's good.
I
don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. We didn't have to argue about this one.
Yeah,
I feel like we need to though, just to pad the time.
pad the time. I don't care. If we have a short episode, we have a short episode.
Fair enough.
I'll pad the time at the end. I'll just scream into the mic for 15 minutes. No one can see the keyboard. It's not in the shot. Do you want it in the shot? Ooh. I hate you. So yeah. What is Girl on the Third Floor? Well, it's a film that came out this year that's directed by Travis Stevens. And you want to know who Travis Stevens is? I don't know. Yeah. I searched his IMDb. Nothing important.
Wow.
Nothing I would know. It's probably a bunch of indie flicks.
Let me check. Let me see if I know of any of them.
You can go over, you can try, but I don't think you find anything. But the most important part of this thing, the most crucial thing about this film is it stars CM Punk. CM Punk, ex-wrestler, at one time UFC fighter. He was terrible. He's 0-2. And those were goonies. Those were goobers that they brought to the UFC just to fight him, and he still didn't do good.
Nice.
Because he was 40 when he went to the UFC, which is not a good idea.
That's a terrible idea.
He's known as being one of the most controversial wrestlers of all time.
I found him annoying more than anything back when I used to watch wrestling. I just found him annoying.
He's known for just being a dick in real life and on stage, being one of the greatest heels of all time, but also being a heel that tells it how it is, giving allusions to his real life altercations with Vince McMahon and his altercations with WWE, being unhappy with the management, and kind of shining a light on alternatives to WWE in a weird way. I think without him, we wouldn't have kind of a weird focus on indie wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's like even after his indie career. Like I feel like if he didn't do the pipe bomb, we wouldn't have a type of culture that we would have today. It's very weird. But he left WWE in 2014.
This is all you. I don't know that shit.
And he left to creative disputes. And he went to go to UFC.
Like shitting his pants on stage. That's a pretty creative dispute.
Yeah, that was because doctor, this is another important story. Doctor prescribed him a bunch of Z-Packs. And the doctors notoriously of WWE sometimes are just not good at doing their jobs. And this has been revealed a couple times that some of them don't really know what they're talking about. And they're just there for a paycheck. And CM Punk talked about that on Colt Cabana's podcast. And he got sued for it. A lawsuit from the doctor he was talking about in question that was kind of rumored to be funded by the WWE. So the blood between them is very weird. And this thing was very weirdly timed because... it was a lot when we would start here. It was all like when he started promotion for this, it was weird because he hasn't done UFC in I think like 2 years. So he comes back all of a sudden, just promote this film. And there's a lot of rumors of WWE bound, being WWE bound. He has a kerfuffle with AEW because apparently they're just memeing it up over there, talking about how they're trying to sign. They can't keep his name out of their mouth. They're trying to like publicly sign him, which is not how things work. Yeah. I love AEW, but sometimes like that was the one stupid thing they've ever done. But It was heavily rumored that he was going to go to WWE because they have a new deal with Fox. They have a backstage show, which is almost like an ESPN like show, and it's rumored for a long time. While doing publicity for the show, his name just gets stuck in people's mouths even more and more. Even after rumors are disproven, even after they're proven, like these things, this debacle of him being like inbound for WWE is still like in kerfuffle, and that's a lot to do. This is almost like, what is it? A celebrity vehicle?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? That's essentially the purpose of this film. And it's very weird timing because we're going to shoot this, I think, last week. And that was just on the precipice of CM Punk being announced that he's going to be on WWE Backstage. And he's kind of back, but he's saying he's only worked for Fox, so he doesn't work for WWE. So it's, I think without this girl on the third floor, we maybe have not gotten that deal. So like it's a weirdly important in a way that I didn't think it was before.
Yeah.
But
it's important, but not for film history.
Yeah, it's just get his name back on there.
Yeah.
And now he's relevant again in some way in the wrestling world because he's been around and people would bring up his name and hope he would return to either WWE or go to AEW. But like
every time you say, I'm thinking you're talking about the root beer A&W.
AEW, not A.
Yeah, but you say it sounds like A&W.
Yeah. But it's very interesting how this laid out because I think without this film, he may have not been in the public eye as much.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance he, because it was weird because the thing with Fox is they didn't bring him in at the beginning. The show's been going for like a week or two now.
Yeah.
And some of the ratings have been terrible. I think like the first week where it debuted, it got like 59,000 people watching total.
Ew.
On Fox Sports.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's on network TV.
Oh my God.
Or not network. It may be network. I don't know. But there's a couple other ideas that can lead to his return. But this is probably one of them because it brought him back in the public eye. He's promoting this film. He was doing like articles or he's doing interviews with GQ where they would talk about wrestling and stuff like that. Without this vehicle, he wouldn't have a reason to be important.
Yeah.
And that's essentially why this film exists and why it's getting so praised. It's not anything else to do with anything but CM Punk being the main star.
Yeah.
Without him, this film would not have been covered by anyone, especially us. And it's not like it's a Blumhouse film.
Yeah, that's literally the only reason we did this is because it had CM Punk in it.
Yeah, this is not like to the level of even something cheesy as a Blumhouse film. Because this is like indie.
Yeah.
Like campy, but not good.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not remarkable for one. And it doesn't really think it should if it didn't have himself, CM Punk.
It's not remarkable.
And that's just not me. That's not me being a smart. That's like actual aspects. Like this thing has decent cinematography.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But then sometimes it doesn't.
It sometimes is very just weird. Sometimes CM Punk's acting is both terrible and great.
Yeah, it's
campy as hell.
That's why I like call him like not only because does he look like a young Bruce Campbell in a lot of ways, but like the way he delivers lines is very reminiscent of like Bruce Campbell's like early days in acting before he just started completely hamming it up.
Yeah.
When he would like try to deliver a line semi-seriously and fucking fail miserably.
I think we watched this and then a week later we watched Evil Dead 2
2.
and it's like the comparisons are just so
like,
stitched into there.
Like the line where he was like, you have a hell of a way of welcoming.
No, I think it was, you have a fucking weird way of introducing people.
You have a fucking weird way of welcoming people. I like watched it. I was like, that is exactly how Bruce Campbell would have delivered that line if this was shot like or made the same time around like between Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Bruce Campbell would have delivered that line.
Yeah.
And the end bit where like he like does like that's Daddy's girl or something like that. That's exact. It reminded me so much of the Evil Dead remake when Bruce Campbell literally just came up at the end of it just like groovy. I was like, he's Bruce Campbell. He is reincarnation of Bruce Campbell, except Bruce Campbell's not actually dead yet. Like, but he's just the spirit of Bruce Campbell.
Well, he's done being Ash, so technically he's
he's kind of. Well, no, he's still going to do Ash for video games.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he'll do like voice acting. But he says it. I think he said he can't physically do the role anymore, and that's the issue.
Yeah, because they had to keep on cutting his hand off every time.
Every time he would just regrow it. He's like, "Hey, we got a new Evil Dead." He's like, "God damn it!"
Yeah. So, it's time. Why is this important? It's CM Punk's celebrity vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of has this weird history with the wrestling world now.
And like in 2/3 of this film are kind of campy.
It's
and
interesting.
fun. Yeah.
But like the last third, like
It's
leaves the
terrible.
most sour taste in your mouth.
It's so
that
bad.
like any campiness before
It's
is
just-
like just not even worth it.
This was a film because we watched this film the same time we watched Mr. America.
Yeah.
And when we finished watching Mr. America, we literally said like it's not really worth the price of rental.
Yeah.
And when we were watching this film, for the first two thirds, like, yeah, this is definitely worth the price of rental. And then the last third happens like, no, fuck this movie. Don't ever rent it.
Yeah, I think it's only available on VOD currently. Yeah, it's not worth it. If there's like YouTube clips, watch those.
Yeah,
because
if you watch, actually, here's the thing: watch this film until the exact moment
where the wife becomes the main character.
like, literally. So basically, watch the film, watch to the point where CM Punk's character dies, and then watch his wife like open the door and then turn it off and assume that's the end of the movie. It's a nice ambiguous ending that have made the film infinitely better
Than the 30 minutes we got afterwards.
than the extra fucking like half an hour of film.
So,
This is an actual summary this time.
yeah, okay, Wikipedia, we do this every week. Wikipedia, Internet Encyclopedia, Jonathan hates when I explain it.
Please
we
stop.
just read the movies. It's how people talk about movies.
Yeah.
So they don't watch them, they just read the plot. Usually they're pretty decent and we can get through a lot. A lot of the plot, and I have to like list off a lot. It's just more we can list off our critiques, but this is very short.
This is an IMDb like plot summary level of
Yeah.
summary.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess maybe just read the summary and
Just
then
read it through,
we'll
yeah.
kind of I'll go through my memory of the plot. We did this before, didn't we? With like Brain Dead, where I had to like recite the whole fucking plot
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also list how many turns there were, and that was very impressive.
That was fucking ridiculous. All right, do you want to read the summary?
I'll try. A deeply flawed ex-lawyer named Don Cock.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Koch.
I know. I wanted to be Don Cock, though.
That'd be a good name, actually, given his character. It's exactly the level of stupid that this film would be.
Yeah. Seeking a new start in life, purchases a rundown old house in the suburbs of Chicago with the intent of fixing it up to provide himself and his very pregnant wife, Liz.
She's not just pregnant; she's very pregnant.
pregnant. I'm trying to think like what would like the worst possibility of that be. And it's like that's like when the baby is like popping out of her stomach.
She's not just pregnant; she's 10 months pregnant.
A new life away from the city, he moves into the home ahead of her, determining to begin renovating the house without any help, despite his wife's advice. He actually has dog help.
Yeah, he has a dog there.
He learns through his new neighbors that his house has a sordid past, and Dawn begins experiencing several supernatural events within the home.
That's all Wikipedia has for us.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the film for today.
That's the entire
Until
film.
next time, guys. I'm Vincent.
I'm
No.
Jonathan.
So, Don's character is he's an ex-lawyer and he embezzled a lot of or something of
He did something like semi-illegal, and then like he ratted out some
He's the guy
people.
that freaked Takeshi 6ix9ine.
Fucking bastard. And yeah, so he did something semi-illegal, and so like he's now in like, I wouldn't say witness protection program because it didn't change his name or anything.
But he's just like he's separated himself from that life.
yeah, and he has to like basically just leave town and try to start over.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
He's
openly just like a bad character.
yeah, he's
in this.
openly an asshole in the same way that like later Bruce like Ash would kind of be openly an asshole, but whereas like that version of like Ash was like openly an asshole is like he's openly an asshole, but like he's not a scumbag.
Yeah.
It's very clear like, oh, he's an asshole because this is literally like the 5th time that he's had to fucking fight Deadites in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you actually, like, break down the events of the Evil Dead films, it's basically one night he has to fight all the Deadites and he loses all of his friends. Night 2, he meets new people, loses his hand, has to fight more Deadites, kill everybody who he then meets dies. He then gets sucked back in time through a fucking portal after fighting a giant Deadite. And then in, like, a span of, like, a couple of days while he's in the past, he has to basically fight an entire Deadite army, kill a clone of himself, kill multiple mini clones of himself, one of which fucking jumps down his throat to create that big clone of himself. Accidentally summoned like a demon version of like everything and like started like this giant fucking war, which he didn't have to become like the commander of. He had the shit kicked out of him by the knights he ended up having to save. It then fucking has to go back forward in time. to fight another fucking Deadite because it didn't end, and then it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. And then like fast forward a bunch of years, and this is when he gets like his most asshole, where obviously that's gonna fucking make him a little bitter at life. The Deadites come back because he got too fucking high and read from the book. Again, at this point he's an asshole, but like he's kind of lovable.
Yeah,
but like
there's charm. There's charm. Whereas like CM Punk in this, his charm is the campiness.
Yeah,
but it's not good.
Yeah,
like CM Punk is a very like when he gives like shoot interviews, even when he's like a dickus, like he's a very lovable villain. Yeah. In this, like I think they've rode the scumbag character
too strong.
It's just like,
and like it's not even like there's no like depth to his scumbaggery. Yeah. It's not like
it's very one dimensional.
Yeah, it's basically his scumbag is like, oh, I'm not supposed to be drinking anymore, so let me hide all the alcohol from my wife. And when she asks us about like the ones that I accidentally left in shot while we're video calling, like, oh, you know, kids used to drink here and shit because this was an old house. And then like, oh, here's this girl. I'm going to immediately cheat on my wife with her because I'm a piece of shit. And I guess like in the third act, there's like hints that like it's kind of the house influencing them. It's like it's kind of stated by like
it's kind of influencing, but also at the same time,
he's
like his
clearly
art,
like
it's like if he didn't have like the
asshole.
shitty lawyer arc, like that wouldn't prove that he's just a scumbag straight off the bat.
Like there's no like sense of like conflict with him about doing these things. He just immediately goes for it. So there's not like a sense of like, say, Jack Torrance being influenced by The Overlook to become worse. It's literally just he is immediately a piece of shit.
Well,
like
no, I'm thinking about Jack Torrance because he was kind of scummy, but
like he
wasn't like murder.
Yeah,
scummy.
he was like a little abusive and bad, but like he had to be like corroded to that point.
Yeah.
Whereas like
CM Punk was just there.
He was there, and then like the house is like, I'm gonna oh shit, don't need to.
It's like this thing wants to be like
good to go.
This thing wants to be like Shining, Lighthouse, Silent Hill territory, but it's just like it's like it doesn't work if you're shitty and don't change.
You can't make a film where like it seems to want to be a film about like a character like falling into like bad habits or old habits, but there's no sense of like falling so much as he like walks into hell like already like his fucking dick's hanging out like let's fucking do this shit. Like he's ready to fucking go. And so like it's badly written.
Yeah. There's no depth.
There's no depth. We got that covered.
The depth is CM Punk being bad. It's and like hilarious.
He delivers lines in such a ridiculous, campy way that even though you never really root for him, you don't want him to die because he's the best part of the movie and how like ridiculously campy the way he delivers his lines. Which is why I think he can be the next Bruce Campbell, because he has that like ridiculous, campy charm to how he says things, even asshole-ish things. That if he's just, I said asshole instead of asshole, that was a mistake. But a
you've
good
done
one.
that a couple of times.
Yeah, he does asshole-ish things, but if you give him like an actually like well-written, well-rounded asshole, I feel like he'd be a ton of fun to watch and root for.
Yeah.
This time he's just fun to watch, but not really root for. So I want to see him make more movies with better writers and better directors who know how to handle his camp. The reason the Evil Dead films work isn't just because Bruce Campbell's campy and fun to watch, but because Sam Raimi knows how to direct somebody like Bruce Campbell really well and how to like work with that in his film. And even with the first Evil Dead, which is supposed to be more scary than fun and campy, it's still scary, but like it has like the campy fun elements, but like still being a genuine horror film. Yeah. And then we haven't even talked about the plot yet.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a scumbag lawyer that comes to change his house. He discovers weird things like cum coming out of the
There
outlets.
is so much fucking cum in this movie. Like when we watched The Lighthouse, Max was like, "There's too much cum." And I was like, "There's like 1.5 scenes of cum. There's one scene of actual cum and one scene of implied cum."
Yeah, and that's from William Dafoe, and he has a huge penis. So since he has such a huge penis, cum's just going to come out randomly because when you have a dick that big, it just kind of happens.
Yeah. But like this film,
I hate myself.
I hate you too. So much. But this film, like, it's like every time he puts like a new hole in the wall, she's like, "Hey, here's more cum. Oh, we have a shot of an outlet. Oh, we haven't had cum come out of that outlet yet. Better put some cum there."
And there's like so many other decrepit things that are like, you're not even like taking offense that this house is like
coming everywhere.
No, not that, but like there's like decrepit elements and like he's grabbing like stuff out of the wall. It's like doesn't make any sense.
There's like and like I get that in the third act of the film, it pretty much lays out everything about the house in such an unnecessarily
boring
and detailed and fucking spoon-fed to you way, and I'll get to that in a minute, like why the house comes so much, which stupid.
Oh my gosh, what if that was the title? The house that comes so much.
There's just the tagline is just there's just so much cum.
No, the tagline should be, you should come see it.
Oh my god. But
Yeah.
fuck, but yeah, but like, and there's occasionally blood, and then there's
Yeah.
just like this marble thing that like he constantly finds.
And then he eats it?
Yeah, like at one point he's like watching something in the house, and he like gets fucking like hypnotized, mesmerized, and he's like holding the little marble. He's like, oh, it's like,
And then he chokes to death, presumably, because that's what happens when you eat a fucking marble.
yeah. But no, he just pops his mouth, swallows it like it's no fucking big deal, and he's like, oh, that was weird, and then he just goes about his fucking day.
It's like the marbles don't make any sense in this film whatsoever.
They're the weirdest fucking thing. They're this like super like heavily emphasized element of the film, and the payoff for it is so minute.
I don't even remember what it was.
I'll get to it because it's fucking the dumbest fucking thing to have used to put such a fucking emphasis on. Like the cum, yes, it's everywhere, but like it makes sense why they emphasized it so much. The weird like aspects of the house where like the stadium like
yeah,
thing.
he's like fixing the
roof?
ceiling, and he discovers that there's like this,
No, like it collapses. Like the roof collapses, and
and
then
then
he
he
like
discovers this like voyeur like looking station, like,
like-
almost like he's in a stadium, and people
Yeah.
are just like watching the bedroom.
yeah, like that makes sense. Like all these things I like had a lot of emphasis placed on to make sense for like why they would, based on like what they're revealed to be at the end. And then you have the marble, which maybe has like only second to the cum, the most influence or like emphasis placed on it, and it's just a throwaway fucking moment. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but I'll get to what that thing.
So CM Punk's friend comes over, who is like, I hate to say it, token black guy.
Yeah, he's a token black guy who's just there to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what his character is.
Yep.
And like,
That there isn't anything
Yeah.
else. There's no depth.
yeah.
Like,
Did you ever watch the Pet Sematary remake?
no.
So
I like to do things with my free time instead of not being in suffering.
okay, fair enough. So like in the original Pet Sematary, so there's the first character to die in Pet Sematary is a student. I don't fucking remember his name. Doesn't really matter. But basically in the original, like he's white, and then the second one, like he's black. And I was like, is this supposed to be progressive? And I remember, wait, no, this character literally exists just to die. I'm like, this is the least progressive way you could have changed this.
Just the cliche of the black guy.
Yeah, it's been
always
like you
says,
change the white character to be a black character to fucking kill the character literally the moment we meet him. Like, why? It was literally doing it, and it just made itself the trope.
Yeah.
But like this film is almost just as bad.
Yeah.
Because like we didn't really need his friend to be there. Killing his friend didn't really add anything to the film.
His friend only brings up the fact that he was a scumbag before.
Yeah.
And like literally you can establish that with any other means. He didn't need to exist. He didn't need to die. He didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Like,
at
he
least
didn't- he-
Pavlov, that was the character's name. At least when Pavlov died in Pet Sematary, like it was like crucial point of the story because he then became like a ghost guide.
Yeah.
But like when his friend dies in this film, it adds nothing other than like we have made it like 40 films and minutes into this film and we forgot to do anything like really scary. It's like let's kill somebody.
Yeah.
And then show like the weird girl who has like shit coming out of her face.
Yeah, so CM Punk hooks up with this woman.
Yeah.
Which again, just like there's no depth to that.
Yeah, she's like a ghost there, I guess.
Like, and he's
maybe.
expecting her to just be quiet about it.
Yeah,
like,
he fucks his new neighbor and then like, yeah, so when my wife shows up, I need you to never mention the fact that I fucked you. Like, what the fuck are you, like, not only from like a like writing standpoint of like
no depth.
but like from a character real world logic, what the fuck are you doing? You literally don't move to a new neighborhood and then immediately fuck your neighbor before your wife shows up. If you have any hope of, I don't know, not getting caught. It's just, which, you know, like, A, don't cheat, but like, B, like, I don't want to say if you're going to, don't be stupid, but like, I guess in general, don't be stupid.
Yeah, so he hooks up with her. She won't leave. He wants to create distance. She keeps on showing up his house.
Because she's a ghost, apparently. Yeah.
His friend dies.
Yeah,
his dog dies.
She kills his dog, and then, like, the friend's like, hey, I need you to leave. And she was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll leave right after I fucking murder you. And then she murders him. And then, like, this is, like, one of the best parts of the film, though. Like, admittedly, is, like, the effects that they had on his face when she, like, hit him with that. And, like, it had, like, the way, like, actually broke off part of his face and just kind of thing. But they're great, like, practical right there.
Yeah.
And then, he's trying to crawl away from her. And then, like, he looks up the stairs. And there's, like, this, like, weird girl who has, like, green crystals or some shit coming out of her face.
I don't understand.
Like, raggedy clothes. She's, like, the most, like, horror-esque creature in the thing. And then, like, Ghost Girl's like, do you want to help me with this? And it's it's stupid.
It's like
it's a bad line.
It's like I don't understand the purpose.
I mean, like,
because like it like why is like the seductress like normal, but like there's also Ghost Girl who's deformed.
Yeah.
It's like it's trying to go for like a pyramid head like thing.
But like
where it's like it's like there's creatures in this world, or
then,
like what's the
end-
thing with what's the thing in Shining? The lady in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like
but she makes sense because you die in a bathtub, and if you die in a bathtub, that's what's gonna fucking happen to your skin.
Yeah.
Like, but like she like switches between the two. And I get what, like, eventually, like, they reveal, like, who that girl is. And it's also revealed with, like, the marbles and shit and, like, the expository dump. Which we haven't got. So, basically...
So, CM Punk dies.
Yeah, we'll get...
CM Punk's pregnant wife comes to the house. And literally this neighbor that, like, CM Punk's interacted with, like, once that told him, basically, an expository dump about how the house is haunted, comes up to her and is like... Yeah, he's dead or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, she was
like, I just remember she gives another expository dump.
Yeah, it's really lame.
Yeah,
boring.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but then
there's too many characters.
There's too many characters who give expository dumps. But then, like, the wife goes for the house and meets the original Ghost Girl, who does this fucking long ass scene where she literally just fucking walks through the house and explains everything. And so basically she explains that the house used to be like a brothel type of thing where like the Ghost Girl and like other people would put on like sex shows and shit for like the people who would watch from the like observatory. Which like, okay, now that makes sense, I guess, and like all this makes sense. But here's the thing, right before CM Punk dies, he like finds like where the girl who gets like all the crystal shit in her face, like her like little room where she would like draw everything that happened like on the walls. If you would have just spent more time showcasing that.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it came in a flash. And
you could be lying to me. I have no idea. Yeah. I have no memory of that whatsoever.
Well, they explained it in the expository dump again, but like it came and it went so quickly that you couldn't really take a lot of time to like get them in. I was only able to picture it because like there was one that I like hanged on to that I saw, and then like I was able to piece it in like later. Literally, that could have been literally like the entire explanation. In the famous words of how we talk about film, show don't tell.
No, you tell. You tell everything.
You definitely don't tell with a 10-minute expository dump. But basically, she explains that like the house used to be a brothel, and then like one of the customers like abused and murdered like this little girl who was always there with her mom who would play with marbles. That's literally where the marbles come from. Is that she played with marbles.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because
I remember CM Punk eating a marble.
You see a brief shot of her in the wall like corner where like some of her drawings were, and her just playing with marbles, and it's like it lasts like maybe 5 seconds. That's our entire explanation of where the marbles come from.
And keep in mind, I was like 5 White Claws, dude.
He was drinking. I was not because I like to.
But also, like, it doesn't mean I don't have valid critiques.
Yeah, like, but yeah, so like it's something that had like all the elements, and like I know why they were doing it. They wanted to make sure their meaning wasn't lost, and they wanted to make this like a feminist film, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but here's
we need more feminist films, but like
here's the thing about the
make
feminism.
Good ones.
No, here's the thing about the feminism. I don't have a problem with feminism whatsoever, but this is not how feminism works.
Yeah,
just because like it
confuses men are shit with feminism.
Not that, but
like,
it's like it's also like the wife's tortured too, and that's very not feminist.
Yeah. So like it doesn't even quite continue its own message, like because like it's basically trying to say like men are trash, which like yeah they are.
Yeah,
but like it's if it had stuck with that concept, which means it didn't torture the wife.
Once it like the wife crossed the threshold, which she doesn't like cross the threshold, she just shows up to her own house that she bought at this house. Like she gets pain and suffering for something she didn't do.
Yeah, she gets tormented. She gets psychologically tortured.
And she gets the expository dump, but CM Punk does not.
Yeah. It's just nothing makes sense in this film. Not only with like the messages trying to make why it's showing it, but like also like just basic and understand of like how films work. Like you don't create a bunch of weird moments with actual explanations that you can just show, only to put those things in the fucking background of somebody talking about everything. If you're gonna have these elements that have a connection to with an explanation, that you have visuals to show it, just fucking show the visuals. Don't put them in the background where you can barely notice them, especially if you're fucking drinking White Claw like a basic bitch, just so that somebody can be in the foreground, distracting you from all those things and just explaining everything. That's not how film works. That's not how basic storytelling works.
Yeah, there's a lot of this film that I can't explain this enough. The third act is just so bad. It's like first it doesn't know what feminism is. Also, the second of all, this film's directed by a dude. So
yeah, I mean, like, so is Midsummer. That's apparently supposed to be a feminist film.
Is it?
I don't fucking know.
It's okay if someone gets raped and then they get burned alive?
That's
a point.
I'm
still gonna bring up that point.
I have a lot of problems with Midsummer beyond just the themes. Like, I have a lot of problems with this film beyond just.
Yeah, but like,
and like the themes aren't like bad if they were consistent.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, again, you said if CM Punk just died and life showed up.
It's also a fucked up view of like sex work. It basically presents like all sex work as like victims. Like, yeah, a lot of them are, and like that's a problem. But like, it basically like demonizes sex work as purely like a thing that needs to be like done away with, and not like a legitimate form of like work that people can do, so long as it's not like in an abusive manner.
Yeah,
which is literally not a part of modern feminism. Like, modern feminism is like about like undemonizing sex work when it's like done not abusively.
Yeah. Yeah, I the first two acts were very like fun. They're campy, but like they're not good. Like,
no,
they're not.
It's sometimes shot well. Sometimes they literally do a dialogue scene where they show like literally they switch between both characters with a straight in the middle, like super close up on the face.
Yeah. And
then they switch to the other person. It's a super close up, right in the middle view of the face, and their eye lines don't even fucking match. And it's just, some of the cinematography here is really good. Anytime it goes outside, it immediately drops like a fuck ton. Yeah. But like interiors, like it's really good. The set is like pretty well handled for like destroying pieces of it. And when it does like some like gross things, like the fleshy walls, or even the cum coming out of things, like it's done in a very technically proficient, professional way. But sometimes it's also fucking done badly.
Yeah.
Sometimes within the same scene.
Yep.
And it's such a mixed bag in the first two acts that like you can't really recommend it beyond the camp factor.
Yeah.
But then the third act ruins it so thoroughly that you can't recommend it at all.
Yeah.
And I think the only film that's done that beyond like Hereditary and this film is probably that I know of personally, that I've like seen as a dark song.
Where the third act ruins the first.
Yeah, is A Dark Song, which I've talked to you about before, which I feel like we need to do.
I don't remember it.
You've never seen it.
No, I don't remember like a premise of it.
Oh, basically, A Dark Song was a film I was forced to watch in occult cinema, which was the worst class I ever fucking took in my life at school, because the teacher who taught it was
I still go to school, so I don't.
No, like what was like not present.
Yeah,
like if. And
I don't want to.
But I'll talk about the film itself.
Yeah.
I won't talk about the professor until you graduate on camera. But and this is my opinion. You don't have to say anything. You're not going to get in trouble.
I gotta keep distance.
You don't even have a class with her.
I gotta keep distance.
Whatever. But so the film like is a very like well researched, well thought out psychological horror film about a woman who's like grieving the loss of like her child, who seeks out a occult practitioner in order to do like this very complicated multiple day to month ritual in order to let her contact the dead, and then make a deal with like either an angel or a demon. It's not really like well defined because they don't really know, in order to like make one like wish in her stated wish is revenge. Like she wants to like get revenge on the people who killed her son. It's like it's very well thought out. It's very well researched into like actual occult practices, and it very like thoroughly like portrays and explores the dynamic between this complete douchebag of a occult practitioner who's helping her do this, and this like clearly like damaged and like broken individual, and how like they're both these like kind of just bad people who are like forced into this situation with each other, and it's very like atmospheric and brooding and like dark, and like it be very well handled, very like disturbing times, or like it's exploring like some of their worst traits. And you get like these small hints of like something like horrific coming because of like these little things. Like there's like a room that like they have to walk off because they think they like got a dark force that they don't want to be present, that they have to keep hidden in there. And you get like all these things. You get like these horribly torturous sequences of like some of the things they're doing to get their practice done. And then in the third act, it basically turns into just like half demon torture porn and half moralistic redemption arc with a giant fucking like angel that's terribly CGI'd into the film. So like it literally starts off with, and if it had stuck with the demon torture, it would have been that bad because it makes sense of some of the things they set up beforehand. And like it doesn't, like she gets like dragged down the like fucking like the basement, which is apparently behind the door, but like there's not an actual basement, I don't think, and it's like it's hell basically. And like she sees these horrifically grotesque demon creatures and they're like torturing. I think they cut off like one of her limbs or something. And then like she like escapes, and then she like goes up the fan and just boom, bright light. And literally the exact moment this bright light came on, I literally sat there and went, this is gonna be fucking stupid. And it was, because it turns and we see just terribly CGI'd angel guardian creature who literally is the size of the entire fucking room, and he's like crouched down, like hunched over, like his knees are like at his shoulders because he has to be that fucking crouched over. He doesn't say a fucking word because they weren't going to be able to animate that with their shitty budget or talent level because it's bad. And then she's like there, and it's like this is apparently her wish moment, and her thing is, I want to forgive. And she just forgives the people who killed her child because she at one point offhandedly mentioned at the beginning that she's not capable of forgiveness, and they don't ever touch upon it again. And then the creature disappears. All the demons disappear. She takes the occult practitioner because he died. He got fucking murdered. He had his shit fucking killed by the demons. And she just puts him in the water and pushes him away for his body to never be found. And then the movie ends.
Oh, forgiveness. I killed this dude.
Yeah, no, she didn't kill him.
No, I know, but like she's in the relation to.
Yeah.
Real world, if police officers found this dead body, she would.
Yeah, she would go to jail.
Yeah.
And then the movie's over.
Yeah.
And that was the last act. And I literally sat there. And normally when like this happens, me and Michael and sometimes Gwen would be like actively laughing at the film. And Michael did, but I was too stricken by how fucking dumb it was to even laugh. I was so dead inside because of that third act. That's the worst third act of a film I've ever seen. This is a close second.
That's how Jonathan feels. But you want to know how Google feels?
I don't fucking care.
Time to go over some Google reviews. Did you know 77% of people that voted on this film liked it?
That's also too fucking high.
That's too much. But also Silent Hill is too much. And
it's less than Silent Hill?
Less than Silent Hill.
While I agree with that aspect, they're both too high.
First Google review is from a guy named Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen. It's an unfaithful man. R.L. Stein, yeah. Unfaithful man and woman are the worst kind of characters in movies. Try as I might, I just can't sympathize with them. Movie didn't really have any juice. Actually,
it had too much juice.
Lots of boring and nonsense scenes.
Well, I agree with your dislike of the film.
I don't think the problem was like the moralness. It's probably there wasn't any depth.
Yeah.
In real life, if it was real life, yeah, the problem would be the moralness. But like,
my problem with your review is that it's just your review is like this movie. It has no depth.
Next one's from NRads. He says, I think a budget movie, just an old soul trap in brothels, tempts a guy, makes sex with her, later traps in that house. Her wife saves the days by blurring that kids, and later we see a child in green bit thrown by CM Punk. Smiley crying face emoji. Could you could you decipher it?
So I think a budget. I think I can. Let me try this. I think a budget movie. Yes, this is a film made on a budget. Good job.
Yeah. The only good thing is the cinematography.
Yeah, I can follow you. Just an old soul trapped in brothels. I guess maybe it's referring to the history of the place, or like a bunch of old souls are still trapped in the brothel.
Yeah, that's very relevant.
Tempt the guys, make sex with her. So CM Punk gets tempted by Ghost Woman and has sex with her. And then later trapped in that house. He gets trapped in the house, but not really. He can leave until like the very end. Her wife, I think he meant his, wife saved the days by
she doesn't really save the day.
She does save the day. She shows up and then like she's given like this weird torturous psychologically destroying test and she like apparently passes it. I don't even know how she passed it. She just kind of doesn't do the thing that Ghost just was wanting her not to do.
Yeah.
But like there's not really like any thematic.
She doesn't go back to CM Punk.
Yeah,
that's like the test.
Yeah. But like there's not a lot of like thematic relevancy of the test beyond like, did you learn that men are trash? You did? Good. Like it doesn't really save the day because as the ending shows where CM Punk shows back up, which I guess is the green bit, which was a marble, which I don't, how did CM Punk get the marbles? Because the marbles were established to be a part of the like Rock Faces ghosts.
Well, he ate it earlier.
Yeah, I guess he vomited that one up specifically. Buried that kid's, I don't even fucking know what that part's supposed to be about. And then later we see a child which is established to be like CM Punk's wife's child. I kind of deciphered it, but at the same time, there's just a little bit right here, like the bury that kid in later. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, to be honest.
The grammar of this is
atrocious.
Yeah,
and also like this is a personal thing, but if you would put an emoji in your review,
makes it better. Because I was literally smile crying face emoji when I saw this. Time to move forward. IMDb, Internet Movie Database, that's where all the movies are stored. And also some of the reviews are stored there as well. It currently has a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, which is also less than Silent Hill.
It's still too high though.
First one's from Tom Fifile.
Fifile goes west?
Every single thing was horrible. 1 out of 10.
Technically, yeah. I mean, I've read some cinematography.
It's like it's bad, but it goes.
It's like it's bad, but it goes from so bad it's good to just really fucking bad.
I cannot name one single thing that was decent. Acting, camera, editing, writing, everything sucks.
Yeah.
The only camera movement they know about is the zoom, and where there's at least 4 million of them. All the characters are unbelievable and annoying, and I'm still watching this movie at the moment, and I felt like I need to write this right away.
They haven't even gotten to the ending.
Jonathan's most hated trope: not finishing the film before you write.
Like they're still not wrong, but like I still hate the fact
it gets worse.
Yeah, it gets worse, and you're writing this review about how everything's terrible, and you haven't even gotten to the worst part yet.
But hey, since it's not over, it may not still get better, so I might be back to change it, except I won't because it sucks. It's not even mildly scary. I might sue the director because I feel violated for watching the first 40 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ.
Look, I'm gonna say this is a good review of the first half. Minus the fact that they're not acknowledging how it's enjoyably campy. But I'm still upset that you didn't finish the film first.
Can anybody please advise? Should I keep going or turn it off? I might need a doctor after this because it feels like someone is stabbing me in the eyes. Jesus Christ. The best actor was the dog. Probably not wrong either.
That was a good dog.
He was a good boy.
Yeah, he was a very good boy.
He was a very good boy, and he was very believable as a dog. I hope they paid him more than the other actors. Someone please make it stop. 17 out of 33 people found this very helpful.
This is a good half review of the film.
This is just
my main fate is that when you say, should I keep going or turn it off? This is mute because at this point when this film was released, IMDb removed the reply to reviews section inability, so like nobody can help you. You're asking, you're screaming into the void for help, and there's no one who's going to respond.
We'll respond. No.
No, you shouldn't have started at the beginning.
Briannis says, really funny horror flick with great main actor, 6 out of 10. Watched this at South by Southwest and did not know what to expect. Turned out to be a quite entertaining horror flick directed by Tavis.
Tavis.
Is it Tavis? I thought it was Travis.
They just can't spell.
Don John, an ex-con with a criminal past.
It's Don Cock.
He says Don John.
Eh.
Like the movie starring, what's his name? Scarlett Johansson and Robin.
Oh, I know who it is.
The guy that likes the
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. I'm still watching this movie at the. Oh no, I read.
Yeah.
I went for the last review. Don ex-con with a criminal past and some alcohol issues. A delightful performance from former WWE wrestler CM Punk. Bought a house in the Chicago suburbs for himself and his 8-month pregnant wife. His 8-month pregnant successful wife. I like how they added the fact that she's successful. He wants to rebuild the house single-handedly with his wife while his wife stays in town. His efforts to renovate the house involve some really funny scenes. CM Punk has great talent for physical humor. Does he? I don't think that was that like physical humor. Like it's like he doesn't know what to do with his body sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when he's at the bar and he's just like, you have a weird fucking way of introducing people. His hand is like the most like hand-fisted cheesy fucking thing in the world. Yeah. His pointing is terrible. CM Punk has great talent for physical humor. While working and sleeping in the house, some strange things happen. Glass balls roll over the floor. Eerie noises occur. A young girl shows up trying to seduce Don John. And the neighboring church pastor seems to know more about the house than she tells.
Which it doesn't really explain
Is she a pastor?
Yeah, they explained that. She was like,
yeah. I thought she was just a neighbor.
No, she was like a neighbor who lived at the church across the street because she's a pastor. She just lives in the church. That's not a thing that pastors actually do in most Protestant like denominations. I know because like I went to church and I know a ton of pastors. They usually live close by to the church, but not in the church.
I really like this movie since it was a fresh mix of haunted house, horror, slasher. It's not slasher.
There's not, no. In what fucking universe is this a slasher?
Next one, family drama and comedy. Comedy in only the most ironic way.
Yeah, this
possible.
is not intentional. You're like, you're giving CM Punk props for being a physical comedian, but this was not a comedy. He wasn't supposed to be a comedian.
Yeah, like he's honestly funny.
Yeah,
he can. He's not in this. Like he's ironically funny.
Yeah,
that's the point. And like it can work really well, this type of acting. But it's not. That's not the intention of it. I really, and jumping back and forth between the genres plays nicely with the audience's expectation.
Wasn't trying to.
Wasn't switching genres. This was straight up a horror film and a not good one at that. Despite some shortcomings in the writing, the actors and the camera work are above average. I would say the camera work's above.
Sometimes, but also sometimes it's below. I'd say like the combination of like its average moments, its above average moments, and below average moments make it just average.
Also, the sound design is very skillful. And don't even fucking talk about sound design.
It was bad.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Don't sound design should only be brought up if it's very like
noticeable,
elegantly and mastercraft done. And this was like not even.
Yeah.
This was like movie.
Yeah. It was pretty basic sound design. There's literally nothing about the sound design that's worth taking.
It's like comparing this to like a Eraserhead. That's like a masterclass
of sound design.
Yeah. 44 out of 30 or 63 people found this helpful.
That's stupid.
Is it good?
I feel like we've well established that no, it's not.
It's not. Where's it on the tier list?
F.
Yeah.
It's an F.
Yeah. Sadly, yes.
If it had a third act that wasn't so shit, it might have made it D because
I think it's
E because entertainingly bad.
I think it's F for the fact that it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But it's A in the fact that it's actually raised CM Punk's stock quite a bit. And it's good to see him.
I don't fucking care.
It's good to see him not go to UFC and die.
I mean, I don't want to see anybody die. To be fair, though, if he was going to die, it's a funny way to do it. Look, I say that
I think we should leave to the final terrible segment. 10 other funny ways CM Punk can die. Number 10.
Who started?
CM Punk dies in the UFC ring. That's number 10.
Oh, that was number 10. Okay, so who does? I guess you do number 9.
Number 9. He like actually dies on the set. Like he reads the script and it's so cringy that he just dies.
Okay, number 8.
He, like-
during the scene where he eats the marble, he chokes and fucking dies, and they just keep it in the film.
Number 7, Vince McMahon finds out he's on the Fox studio show and he literally murders him. That's like the most probable one involved.
What was that, 7? Number 6, he goes back to WWE and shits himself to death in the ring.
Number 5, they prescribe him so many Z-Packs that he just like his body is 100% Z-Pack at that point.
He literally turned into one giant Z-Pack pill.
His body's, you know what a Z-Pack is, right?
Yeah, I've had to take them a lot.
It's like, so now he's just all bacteria.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He starts the next plague. Like it's actually that type of medicine that's like scientists are warning that we prescribe so many like antibacterial
That we're just making super bacteria and we're gonna kill ourselves.
Yeah.
What are we on, number 4?
Yeah.
Number 4, him and Bruce Campbell get into a fight to death because there can be only one.
Number 3, there's a super bacteria and it's kind of
It's from the Z-Pack.
it's from the Z-Pack.
That's just sad.
Number 2,
Number 2, cage match.
cage match.
Just cage match.
Cage match.
Cage match.
Just like he just dies.
Just dies in a
Freak
cage match.
accident.
Yeah, like before like the match even starts.
No, what I'm gonna expand on that too. They try to get him like do a Shane McMahon stunt.
Oh god.
And like this time it goes like horribly bad on purpose. They literally, this is gonna be really dark. I'm apologizing for this one in advance. They do the Owen Hart thing over again, but this time with CM Punk, and they do it on purpose.
I don't even like wrestling, but that's still just
That's dark.
dark.
That's terrible. That's
Yeah.
the worst thing I've said this entire episode.
Yeah.
And I apologize in advance because I am a sick bastard.
you are, and you still got to do number 1.
Number 1 would be like the worst way.
No, we're going for the funniest way.
The funniest way. No, like what would be? It's like he just watches this film and cringes so bad. Like, he already read the script, but now
He
just
dies from shock.
he's just like he tries to wrap his brain around, or no, even worse, he thinks his character's completely moral.
I'm gonna tell you about because we've talked about like CM Punk in UFC and how shit he was. Ever talk about my cousin who tried to do MMA?
No.
So my cousin, I've been trying to find a video game because he used to be on YouTube. I've never been able to find it again. My cousin tried to be an MMA fighter. He was terrible at it, like just fucking awful. And he got like his first like televised fight, and I don't think he ever won a fight. I'm just gonna start right there.
Yeah.
This was the first time he ever had like a fight that was televised that like could be seen by the ton of people. This is also his last fight that was televised to a ton of people, and also I think his last fight, period. The fight lasted 14 seconds, 10 of which was just them bouncing around the ring before the guy punched him in the head and he went down.
Is that the same cousin that did meth?
No, that's a different
cousin.
This
Yeah.
one is not one of my biological cousins. This one married into the family.
Okay. For good reason. Because once you suffer that much, you must suffer more of the Reeser clan.
Yeah. No, he's on the Gibbs side. Yeah. My mom's side. Yeah. The side I actually
Even worse.
see. Fair enough.
Is it a film?
I mean, technically.
Yeah. Is it a good film? No.
No. It's more of a commercial for CM Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what came out of this. I don't think a lot of people watched this movie. I
Good.
think they were just really excited that CM Punk did interviews again.
I like how in the film, and you pointed this out, like in all of the like credits in this, like in the actual film, they didn't call him CM Punk. They call him his actual name, which I don't even know.
Phil Brooks.
Phil Brooks. They call him Phil Brooks. But in all of the marketing, it's like Phil CM Punk Brooks. They were marketed based on his title of CM Punk, but in the actual film, they didn't give a fuck that he was CM Punk.
It's because they didn't realize that was the only thing that was going to sell the movie.
Yeah. Well, they edited it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
This was fun.
This
I
was an
enjoyed this.
episode.
We should do this again sometimes. It's almost like we do this weekly.
Yeah, but nobody watches. You fucks.
Just like this film.
No, fair point. You fucks.
Yeah, that's it. This is like one of the worst films I've seen all year.
Watch the first. Watch enough of it to get what
Just
I'm saying
literally
about
just-
CM Punk being the next Bruce Campbell,
Literally
and then
just,
once
like,
you see it,
watch
turn it
YouTube
off.
clips.
Yeah.
That's like what you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah. Literally just watch enough of this film to understand what I'm saying about why CM Punk is the next Bruce Campbell, and then shut it off. Or if you're enjoying it, again, watch until the wife walks into the house and then shut it off. Leave that ambiguity to you.
Yeah. That's it.
And that's it.
Just like, I don't even think you need to watch a lot of this. Just watch YouTube clips to see that like CM Punk has some campy chops that are really funny. Could be.
He needs a director who can work with that, who can highlight that. He needs a script that makes him an asshole you can root for, not just an asshole you can laugh at. And he could be the next Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's it.
Keep in mind I almost did score. We already gave a tier.
This isn't the Anthony and Todd show. There are no scores here.
Yeah, just tears.
Just tears.
Kind of the same, but
just
different.
The tears of me watching this.
That's it for this week's episode. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find us at Anthony and Todd. You can find us at youtube.com/ Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Is It Film.
Yeah, this is
youtube.com / Is It A Film. Patreon.com / The Anthony and Todd Show if you want to support us monetarily. And if you want to find this on podcast form, you can find it under The Anthony and Todd Show. Get the best of both worlds, film and music reviews all in one place. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Jonathan.
And see ya. Boyos. Oh, wrong end. Outro.
You dumbass.